Yeah, Gary, how do we fix everything?
You know, that's a great question.
We start with that type of question.
He starts with the easy question, right?
Very
Hugo,
easy.
I like how you asked me in your booth.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out. I think everyone is trying to do that.
I think if you're in corporate, you fix everything with an org chart, right?
Yeah.
You just fix it with an org chart and you're done.
Yeah.
You reorganization, problem solved for at least 6 months. You know, the answer is like what we're doing. Communicating, talking, understanding pain points, understand the problems customers have, not my problems. Don't build my organization chart into my product. Customers don't like that, but listen, listen.
In fact, from my experience at least, the main factor on an organization, besides the issues that we kind of deal on transforming the company, most of the times the digital transformation, the issue, the main, let's say not the issue, the challenge that we have is the way we use the technology, but with the people of the company. And most of the times our behavior, strategy, actually what you wrote about your book.
His book is should be the bestseller for manufacturing and for this industry. It's just, it explains the issue, right? You take him home with the guy. He goes home, right? In the kitchen, always eating dinner late. Real world stuff. That's great.
Actually, a lot of times I was cooking a meal and at the same time trying to figure out an issue in a specific machine. That was the normal life of on the manufacturing. Those are the pain points that people on the companies they find nowadays. Yeah. That's why I told why we started this on our side at least. Yeah, it was because of we were discussing that on before, which is to feel the pain and to feel that pain and to know that someone else has the same pain and you're not building for yourself, you're building also for others.
Don't pretend you understand the pain, right? Really understand it and feel it yourself with them. Yeah, that takes a lot. You gotta put your ego to the side. You gotta take the technology for a moment, put it to the side, just really engage. You know, something simple as a problem statement, well written, instead of building the solution in or blame. You know, really good start.
And listen to people to tell you, no, that's not the greatest idea. No, that's not the thing you should do. It comes with the job. But
nobody ever tells you no.
All the time. Oh, you don't. From the customer to even to our product owner, it's Monday.
It changes, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But if you have that passion, if you have that idea to sort that problem, which is the question that you kind of
the simple one. It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder from here. I can tell.
You pick on that question and you try to sort it out, but once you look at it, you spend 20 years trying to figure that question out.
We're all trying to figure that out.
Yes. You actually were saying something about that, about a statistic that was said prior to this event. About 54, I think it was Jeff Winter.
Jeff Winter, our friend, right? The great Jeff Winter. He got up on stage, did the keynote at Prove It, and he gets up there, he's talking about AI. And he says, 54% of small to medium manufacturers are still running on paper and pen. My brain shut off listening to Jeff, and I'm like, how can that be possible? I started my career in the 80s. We were taking out relay logic, pneumatic controls. This stuff worked perfectly, by the way. We put it in PLCs. And through our career, we didn't accomplish more than 46%? I feel like a failure. I mean, we all should, right? We should all feel kind of like we failed here a bit. And I'm talking to Dylan about it, and he goes, well, maybe they calculated the ROI. But it's a great statistic because, I talked to him afterwards, and he thought, are you challenging me? No, I'm not challenging you. I know you. You did your homework. His IoT analytics kind of quote was an article, and they brought him in as part of that. And so he added it to the presentation. My brain really did just shut off. I'm like, I heard, but my brain was like, how can this be? How can this possibly be that that's where we are in this industry?
Yeah, it comes back to transformation. Actually, I have a great example for me. It was back in 2023. I went to a company, not name the company, and they were talking about that they are transforming themselves, they are changing. They were a company with pen and paper, and I was like, oh, amazing. What they have now, it's tablets with an Excel spreadsheet. Nice. So it's just but they move into a nicer paper. It's not sorting things out. It's not automation. It's not control. Something that is not taking pain from them. It's just another format to writing. And that, I think, is transformation is the key word, because it comes from a point of view that you're changing the company as a whole. And
the executives in these companies, they have to transform the people. They have to transform themselves, right? Their own thinking, in order to then transform the process or transform how they measure things or what they want to measure. You can't measure everything, because then you got to measure the right things. Like any business, like the NFL or soccer. I'm a big cycling fan. I love the data. Yeah. Right. I love the data. How much is it really useful? I don't know. Maybe, to me, I'm watching, maybe not as much as the team captain, right? Or the coach or the owners and things. So it's the same thing in manufacturing. You got different type of information that's important for different jobs. You got to know the job you're doing for the information that you need, but you don't need it all, because then you're overwhelmed or you're chasing the wrong thing. But I just got to start with the people. Yeah, you're more knowledgeable than me on this.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of people don't even know what information they need, though. That's what I see a lot is if you can't digitize what you don't know yet. And sometimes, even if it's on pen and paper, if it's an Excel sheet, whatever it happens to be, you need to learn the process. And a lot of people know a process, but they don't know their process yet. And they got to start with something to get the groove and get that cadence down, that rhythm, and then they can digitize it. But even then, it's not digital improvement, it's digital transformation. And that's what a lot of people miss when they think about how it scales.
We're done. Yeah, we got it there, we're done. Like, no, it's a journey, right? Yeah, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon kind of a thing, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was, I used to, as I was telling a little bit, I used to do that path of an integrator that was in front of the PLCs, dealing with the maintenance guys, dealing with the production area. And one key thing is that everyone on the organization, of course, has different objectives. And the thing is, it's very hard to align into one KPI. And if you have only one KPI, like production, OEE, what is that? It's one piece. And what for the maintenance engineer, it's availability of the machine. But the guy from quality, he wants the machine in perfect condition in terms of product, the product output. And the person from production, he just wants things moving. And for the CEO, probably it's being able to ship that product, invoicing, collecting. So, but the guy from maintenance actually has an issue, because if there isn't any objective for him or a KPI, the KPI is only aligned to please look at this, follow this, or everyone will kind of crush you. So the company is not working as a whole, as a team.
And that's a company that's working well. The CEO has his objective or her objective, And from there, there could be a KPI or a few that measure that, but then they come from somewhere. And if the team is cohesive and on the same path, each of those people have a KPI that they're associated with that are metrics up. And if it cascades down, but if you don't know what those KPIs are, if you don't know what those metrics are, again, how do you digitize?
Exactly. Hey, you keep it hidden, from everybody, like it's top secret. But that's how you're measured, you better share because that's the team that's going to deliver
And that's
your
where,
metric.
as you know more than anybody, I'll let you go on this a little bit, but most teams aren't well-oiled. Most teams have politics and drama and fear, and people are trying to protect their own, or they're worried about this or that. And
Exactly. And you find it in all organizations, I don't care if it's manufacturing or corporate or whatever, everyone thinks that my job security is my knowledge here today, instead of thinking how I can collaborate with everyone to your point. And your point is actually how we can achieve something as a team. And it's got to become, I always use the word family, with organizations as well. I don't want to be a team, I want to be a family. Let's be open with each other as help. And let's not let the org chart box we were talking about earlier get in the way. And so the org chart has a different box. Well, get out your box and go talk to the other boxes, because you can solve a lot of problems no matter what's going on above you or below you if you're working with your peers. If you start that, then it'll be addictive. And everyone else will see that as success, and they all want to duplicate that success.
I think off of that, I want to ask a question to both of you independently, and so we can kind of talk about it more. But I do see something a lot of the times from the digital transformation side of things, especially the engineers. Nobody knows how to talk to the CEO. Nobody knows what KPI or metric the CEO cares about. You're both CEOs. In a digital transformation, perfect world, what would you care about?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. So solve everything, and now what? CEOs want KPI. Yeah, he's simple. He's got these simple questions for us. Did you sign up for this? I don't know if I did. Right?
No.
Who invited this guy? That's good.
I can. Okay, this is probably something internally, and I really relate to what you said about a family, and not a team. Actually, internally on the company, for us, that's kind of important. Even the way we handle things, we have, each one has his own identity, its own objectives. So I'm coming back not to manufacturing, but to our organization. The way you sort out problems is like a round table. We talk about it. Yeah. And for my, actually the perspective that I have within the company is that I'm steering, okay, but the only thing I'm able to do is hit the brakes. I can, if I step on the pedal to speed things up, I'm not the engine. They are actually the engine. The only thing I can actually do is just say, no, not this. Let's say this.
The veto power, they say.
Yeah, just veto. But that means that I get a lot of no's based on my ideas. So I pitch, and I got the one from marketing, which is standing right here. They say, no, senor, like he likes to say. He's not here. He's looking at me like I'm not here, but he is. So he says all the time, no, the person from product. So I think that's the most important thing, that everyone gets involved and they are able to pitch in. For me, for a startup, it's easier. For a bigger company, okay, there needs to be another way to handle that, but that will be part of the transformation. That needs to be part of the transformation.
I agree. Yeah, so I look at the digital transformation from the manufacturer side of things. I think it's got to be outcome based. It can't be, tactical type things. It's got to be a strategic KPI. I don't think I can predict exactly what that is for the whole industry, but each company has something that is a value for them. We're all on a different journey in our organizations. If you're software companies like us, right? We're in different journeys, but our manufacturers are the same different journeys. So I think it's kind of custom, but I think it's got to be the high level strategic objective of the outcome you want. And sometimes we get too, you want to go back and put your hands on everything, and do it yourself. And so sometimes we do the same thing with KPIs. We kind of like get a little bit too tactical if we're not careful. We don't have people like you have a strong team saying no, right? So you have to have that pushback. But I fundamentally believe I can't build an integrated product. I can't build an integrated collaborative product with others in the industry if I have an unintegrated team. If my team's not integrated and communicating like we're doing, then I can't build a product that serves the same thing. Then if the joke is you build your organization chart into your product, it's not really a joke. It happens. I can talk to you about a lot of the companies here where it shows up, and it's typically in the integration, and it's integrating with outsiders as well, right? So great question. What do you think it is? Actually, we'll turn it on you. What do you think the KPI? I don't know if he gave you the exact answer you're looking for.
I mean, my answer is very much, it depends on the organization, what journey they're on. Like both of you are kind of saying. I mean, you gave a good, very personal answer.
I gave a very personal answer.
You're correct with the journey, and everybody's on their own, and everybody's going to have every business is going to have a different strategic objective. And if there's a KPI, it needs to measure that objective. And as you said, everyone's on their own journey. That said, through conversations with a lot of manufacturers, there's kind of 3 categories I've seen. And I wasn't prepared to answer this, so hopefully I remember them all right now. But the 3 categories I see all the time are either increasing revenue, increasing quality, or decreasing the cost.
Those are
usually
great.
Usually ends up in one of those 3 categories plus some outliers. But even within those categories, there's such different ways of doing it and such different metrics to measure that usually from our side of things on the consulting and the integration side, we usually find one of those 3 groups so we can kind of cater to different people in different ways through that. But yeah, that's what I see.
I mean, and those are all businesses focused on those 3 things too. I know you do, I do. And
no, but
well.
Actually I wanted to pinpoint something. I think that's why I gave you a very personal perspective, because it comes up to the main objective of the company. So internally, we actually have an internal objective that we define for ourselves, and it becomes easier for the other ones to define what are the next steps. And some of the companies, they kind of don't have that, especially in manufacturing. They just let's sell. Some of the companies that are, at least the one that I follow, there is a very nice one about chocolate. That chocolate's completely controlled by 1 or 2 brands, basically. Sure. Not brands, actually companies that own brands, and we all know the brands. And yeah, and there is this small company that's doing this small square. I don't know if you guys know, but they have a different objective. So they are like a startup, and they really grew based on a strategic defined by using marketing, but in the social media, using TikTok and so on. And the manufacturing strategic was reflected by that. So they defined what they needed on the process by defining that objective. So the key thing is define your objective, then the rest will follow if you do it.
It works in your personal life, it works in business. It's the same. And we all want to be better, husband, father, son, your daughter. I mean, it's the same. If the business wants to be better, whatever that improvement is, so you kind of go through that same discussion and kind of introspective of yourself where you are. Sometimes it's really hard. You need someone else to tell you, somebody new come on the outside, and then it's even hard to hear, right? Like, I thought my baby was beautiful. You're saying my baby's not. And so how can we improve? But it takes a level of maturity to even ask the question in the first place.
And even to us.
Yeah, and then listen.
To listen, you're not able to. It's normal. It comes with the job. But that's quite hard to find on any company, especially on a sector where the management needs to have a certain image and a certain way of defining things, they not only define the objective, they also define the way to reach that objective, and then it becomes a struggle because it's not understood below. Yeah.
Define where you're going, work your way backwards, set milestones on your way back to today, and you kind of have at least a roadmap to an area, right, of improvement or utopia, if that's your goal. But it's nice to think of it in those terms. But to me, people take the time. They always think that there's people that can read a crystal ball. They see where the market's going. That's BS, right? We all know that. Somebody has a vision, they define it, and then they go, well, it has to happen in the last thing. What has to happen before then? I think in the corporate world, they call it the Merlin exercise, right? Live his life backwards. So you live your life backwards after you define the future. But those are very strategic things. And if you're focused on, the production line 12 shut down and it has intermittent problems, and, it's hard to separate yourself from that because it's going to cost you your job.
Yeah. And to tie that back to digital transformation, and correct me on any of this, but once you've defined your objective, then you can figure out the strategy to make it happen. Then you can figure out the tactics, and then it comes to execution. And digital transformation really only happens in the tactics and the execution.
Yeah. But on my perspective, don't follow plans, but plan always. So, that sentence. Yeah. It's you need to also recheck everything that you're doing in terms of tactics.
And to round this back out to the original number, you said about 54% still on paper.
I hope Jeff's impressed.
But I think, is it safe to say that many companies just don't have their objectives defined in the first place, and you can't do tactics and you can't execute on a strategy you haven't defined?
Maybe. I'm still very curious about that number. Maybe too curious.
And maybe the number's not perfect.
Maybe,
but the idea.
And I'm sure it's not. But it's enough to kind of make me think about my own approach when I'm talking with customers. Who I'm actually talking with. Am I talking to someone who's, the leading bleeding edge? Am I talking to the more conservative or the ultra conservative, being paper and pen? But it's the idea is that the execution being so key, and the plan we talked about, I don't know if it's a lack of that or if they're so small. It says because it's small to medium. Most of them are so small that they don't have the capital to go invest.
Or are they small enough to not even need it?
They don't even need it because they got them and one other person and a dog, right? 2 guys and a dog started a software company, right? So we've heard this before. I'm sure manufacturer does the same out of the back of the garage or something, right? It can happen there too with 3D printing and all kinds of things.
In our case, it was a cat.
But my worry is that medium size more than the really small, and my worry is more the medium size. They're probably they've heard too many pitches or have had too many experiences in the past where technology guy comes in with their pitch and sells them heaven, and they live through hell, right?
And sometimes you have to go through hell to get there.
Sometimes if you're in hell, like was it Winston said, if you're in hell, keep going.
That's why this spot is called Integration Heaven. You can see over there.
Yeah, I see that in heaven, right? I helped you.
Yeah, yes, you did.
We're all trying to get you, right?
No, but actually, I think it was a good talk. Yeah, really, really inspired.
I'll say I've enjoyed meeting you for the first time.
Yeah,
I enjoyed having more conversations with you, right? I'm his personal stalker, I think. But the thing is, when you find people that are talking about this industry without using the corporate jargon, without using technology first and things, you want to listen, right? Yeah. You may not agree with everything, but you want to listen and you want to talk like this. This is where it starts in my mind. This industry is a great industry.
Yes.
Yeah, we need more younger people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a great conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.